bigger building.
There were other people on that one too.
At 7 o'clock yet. All right. Council, we will begin our council meeting. We just completed a roundtable and let the record show that all council is present. I believe we do need to excuse Councilor Mayor Pro Tem Mayhew, though. He was on earlier. So,
moved. Second.
okay, moved by Councilor Lissay and second by Councilor Holloway to excuse Mayor Pro Tem Mayhew. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right, motion passes and he is excused. So move to our first item of regular business is to approve the agenda. Councilor, I have a motion to approve the agenda.
So move. Second.
It's moved by Councilor Holloway, second by Councilor Watton. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Councilor, is there any discussion? Councilor Benson?
Yeah, didn't we need to juggle some of the things on the agenda to,
Yes, we do.
Okay.
So I believe we need to move the mayor's report and commission committee liaison reports to following legislative priorities.
So moved.
seconded?
Case moved by Councilor Christensen, second by Councilor Benson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, Council, is there any other adjustments to the agenda? You seeing none? All in favor with the agenda as recommended? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right, the agenda is approved as changed. So this brings us the first item of business this evening. It's very exciting. The presentation by the Snoqualmie Fire Department. We have recognition of Tom Monroe, and firefighters Hughes and Stevens, and an introduction of new firefighters. So I will let Chief Carrera and Deputy Chief Bailey take over.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'm going to hand this off to Deputy Chief Bailey. We're going to start with the new staff members, and then we're going to say farewell to a couple of our longstanding members of the department.
Right.
Evening. Thanks for letting us come in front of you guys today for this opportunity to introduce some of our new volunteers. We have 6 volunteers that started with us in June, a couple months ago at the beginning of the summer. With the summer, it took a little bit to get in front of the council here, but we do want to take the moment to just introduce you and tell you a little bit about them. You'll notice as we go through, very few of them live in the area. A couple do, but we started a new thing with this round of volunteers where we tried to expand the pool a little bit and try and draw in a little bit more, a larger pool to draw from and a little bigger group to interview. So as I go through, I'm going to introduce each one, tell them a little bit about them, what their occupation is, where they live. And then I also asked them to give me a couple sentences of why they decided to join the Snoqualmie Fire Department. So that's what I'm going to tell you a little bit about them tonight. And we do have their helmets that we are going to give to them tonight. Most of them just finished up or are finishing up their rookie books, which means within like the last month, within the next month, they're going to be ready to start responding on calls with us. So first we'll have Katie Anthony come up. Just right down the line there. So Katie lives in Fall City. She's a writer and a mom to 2 Fall City Falcons. I had to put that in there. And what Katie said when I asked her about why she wanted to volunteer with the fire department, she said, I chose to volunteer because during COVID, I came to understand the importance of community on a much deeper level. Our neighbors, teachers, coffee shop baristas, grocery store clerks, flower farmers, and postal workers contribute to the health and joy of our community every day. I wanted to find a way to meaningfully add my own contributions to this place I'm so lucky to call home, and I'm thankful to have found a place through the Snoqualmie Fire Department. Was that? Explain the difference of colors. Oh, yeah, the blue helmets signify EMS responders, and the black helmets are going to be for firefighters, and also they respond to EMS and fire calls. So that's why we have the 2 different colors here. Next, we have Nico Chavez. And I forgot to mention, both Nico and Katie came to us with no EMS experience, no fire experience at all. So they're brand new. They both just started the EMT school in first of this month. Couple weeks ago, and it's going to go through almost to the end of the year, isn't it?
Mhm.
Two nights a week and a Saturday, or just one night?
2 nights a week.
2 nights a week and a Saturday is what they're putting in for the EMT, the emergency medical training. So Nico lives in the Renton Highlands and is currently working at Home Depot. And the main reason why he wanted to be a volunteer with us is because he wanted the abilities to do more for others, no matter who they are or why they are here. He saw this program as a new and exciting opportunity for him, since he always wanted a future in the fire department as a career down the road. And he said, this is a great place for me to start with an amazing group of people. Next, we have Kyle Liston. And Kyle comes to us already certified as a firefighter and EMT. So he's already gone through the training. He's just currently going through his rookie book to get used to how we do things here in Snoqualmie. So Kyle currently lives in Bellevue, and he's a crew lead for First Do Movers, the moving company in the area. And he said he decided to volunteer to receive continued training and mentorship to pursue a career in the fire service in the future, and that he's happy to be with the Snoqualmie Fire Department. Next, we have David Hazelton.
David may look familiar.
Again, David comes with us already trained as a firefighter and EMT, just like Kyle. He currently lives in the Issaquah Highlands and is self-employed with custom building model railroads. That's the familiarity.
Okay.
And then he wanted to volunteer in Snoqualmie to get some new opportunities and serve a community that's closer to home, to get more involved in the community that he lives in.
Guy's gonna be a pillar of the community.
That was before the other stuff. Came to us first. Next, we have Mary Biner. And she came to us already as trained as an EMT, and she works up at the Snoqualmie Pass with Ski Patrol. And you've been up there how many years?
About 5 years.
About 5 years. So Mary lives in North Bend, and she's a tax advisor with Brighton Jones in Seattle.
Mhm.
Yeah. And her reason for joining the fire department was to utilize her EMT skills to help the community, and also serve as a role model and a mentor to other women interested in serving as a first responder. And last but not least, we have Alex Wolf. So Alex came to us as he's trained as a paramedic, and he works down in Puyallup area with Northwest Ambulance. And he came on as an EMS responder, but once he started, we had the opportunity to send him down with Fall City to a joint volunteer fire academy that they were putting on. So he started that training in mid-July.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think they're going to be done probably about mid-October. So he'll be doing both fire and EMS for us. So Alex, like I said, he's a paramedic with Northwest Ambulance stationed in Puyallup. He moved to Renton about a month ago, but he's from the Sammamish area and the Beaver Lake area. And Alex wanted to volunteer with us in order to learn more about firefighting and gain experience as he's working toward a career in the fire service. Snoqualmie is close to home for him, and growing up, he spent a lot of time exploring places along the river, and he felt that Snoqualmie was an ideal place for him to volunteer since he feels so connected to the community. Thank you.
I've been chatting with some of the volunteers lately, and they've all have commented on what a great group, this large group of volunteers. Normally, we don't bring this many on. Normally, it's 2 or 3. But because of the difference in training and experience level, we decided to bring on a bigger group and try to flip flop it so we can infuse the group, infuse the organization and volunteer side of the house with some energy, and they've been doing a great job. They've all dove in head first, and they're doing great stuff on behalf of the city. So I'm going to ask Tom Monroe to come up. So we're gonna be saying farewell, unfortunately, to a few of our longstanding members tonight. This is a little bit bittersweet. Tom's been with us, at least with the city, since 2015 or 14. 15. Yeah, he came in 2015, joined with the Public Works Department, and then came to the Fire Department in 2017. Tom actually retired in 2020. But he didn't want to leave. No, but actually, no, it actually worked out. This worked out perfect. He decided to retire just before COVID hit. During that time, being in lockdown and all that other stuff, Tom decided to stay on board with the department as what we refer to as a PERS retiree. He can work less than 20 hours per week, still come in, but still be a retiree. And Tom decided to do that up until about a month ago when he said, hey, I want to be done now. So we've tried to talk him into staying 2 or 3 times, but he just doesn't want to let it go any further. In 2020, Tom, when he announced his retirement, was recognized with the Fire Chief's Medal. And I just want to read to you what was said during that time to give you a sense of the type of person Tom is. The Fire Chief's Medal is awarded at the discretion of the Fire Chief. And it's designed for those who've had a major impact on the services that we provide as a fire department. The recipient has been a constant pillar within the organization, always willing to help, offer his experience and thoughts on projects, even if it's outside of his normal scope of responsibility. He's a little bit of a geeky nerd when it comes to IT stuff and astrology. I mean, he's always sending this really interesting articles on a whole bunch of different things. So always offering his opinion and thoughts on things. He's been very much underutilized in the fire department and in the city. He actually worked at Alaska Airlines for a little bit of time. He was part of the executive office of the port, and then he was originally a military veteran as well. So he was a great fit for the fire department. We quickly knew right early on that he was going to really outpace what we expected of him in the organization, and really drove us as a department. People in Tom's position in the fire department, they kind of sit behind the scenes. They don't get a lot of attention, but their actions actually have an impact on every single incident that we go on. So indirectly, they actually save more lives, or they'll never respond to an emergency. They may never put water on a fire, but indirectly, their actions can save countless lives and protect property and be instrumental in the services that we provide. And that's truly what Tom has done for us since he joined the department. Without these critical staff members, we can't do our job. He keeps things from falling through the cracks, and his attention to detail has been remarkable. So Tom, I'm really happy for you moving on to retirement. I certainly am going to miss you. I hope you're not going to be a stranger on the fire department, but I certainly do wish you all the best in the future. So next I'm going to ask Lucas Hughes and Mike Stevens. You guys might as well both come on up at the same time. They're kind of a joined pair. They have been a joined pair since they joined us about 6 months apart, but I'm going to give you one last chance. Okay. This is it.
Don't tempt me.
Okay. So Lucas Hughes, he's on my media right here. Lucas joined the department on July 14, 2014. He was actually the first firefighter that I got to offer a position to as the brand new fire chief here in town. We quickly knew that he was going to be a great asset to the department. He came to the city with over 7 years of experience from the Boeing Fire Department, where he also, and as well as the Getchell Fire Department, he quickly hit the ground running. He was a hazardous materials technician, which is something the department has never had internally. He got that training with him from the Boeing Fire Department. He quickly became our subject matter expert with regards to hazardous materials response. He served on the regional hazmat team representing Snoqualmie for quite a few years. And then I don't know if he got bored with that or he just decided to step back because there wasn't enough calls for him, and then dove headfirst literally into the rope rescue and our swift water program. He would travel to Maine to get the training, really built our program to what it is today, and really took over the special operations program as a whole. He was excelling in these roles, and at the same time, he was also the union president for the firefighters local, representing all of the firefighters and leading them through from 2016 to 2019. In 2019, he was promoted to lieutenant, and he shifted his effort to leading his shift as well as being part of the fire department's officer corps and leadership team. Soon thereafter, in 2014, November 25th, Mike Stevens joined the department. He was the third member, although it was just about a week apart from the second member that I got to offer a position to. Mike joined the department. And he came to us from the West Valley Yakima Fire Department. He was there for about a year before coming to the city, and he was also a part paid firefighter with North County up in Snohomish County, large fire district up there to the north end of by Stanwood. He was awarded the Yakima Valley Firefighter of the Year award in 2014, the same year he came to us. Mike's been instrumental in the department, focusing on whatever is needed of him and providing exceptional levels of service to the community. He managed the department's apparatus and equipment program, creating better record keeping and advocating for better equipment. He's also served as a union president for Snoqualmie from 2019 until he resigned last month. I just want to highlight that during that time was probably one of the most turbulent and critical times within the city while we were going through a vaccine mandate, as well as the global pandemic, a lot of uncertainty going on in the fire department and a lot of challenges associated with that on a regional basis. And Mike was critical to really helping and leading the city and the organization through that. Part of his leadership assisted in the department becoming fully vaccinated 100%, which was almost unprecedented in the county. As well as he successfully ratified a memorandum of understanding on the impacts caused by the vaccine mandate, the only union in the city to do that. And that was critical because of Mike's leadership. Mike also received the Career Firefighter of the Year award in 2022 with Snoqualmie for 2021. I'm seeing a pattern. I'm going to let Redmond know not to ever give you the Firefighter of the Year award because that means you're going to be leaving that year. And he's really been, his commitment to the department has been unlike any other. Ironically, and these two members are very good friends, and I brought them up at the same time because they're what I like to refer to as work wives. They would commute together, they would argue all the time together at the table, they'd be going on calls together, but they really made a good team. I met with the chief of Redmond, because that's the department that they've gone to, the City of Redmond Fire Department. And I asked if they actually interviewed together, and he told me no, but they were back to back. So they were waiting for each other in the hallway. So I just want to say thank you for your service to the community. It's only fitting that I give you both the Chief's Medal. Again, the impact that you guys have both had on the service to the community during your tenure here has been remarkable, both Swiftwater, Special Operations, and you leading the organization, especially the union side of it through the global pandemic and helping with the vaccination. And then also successfully ratifying 2 contracts during that time without mediation or arbitration. And that's really remarkable. I really appreciate both you guys. You guys always have a home in Snoqualmie. I'm proud to call you guys Snoqualmie firefighters, and I do wish you all the best. Thank you. So just in closing, I just want to share with you all, you may have noticed I've been handing out some challenge coins. It's only fitting that for the month of September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and the challenge coins that we're giving out is in an effort to reduce firefighter suicide. 127 firefighters took their own lives in 2020. That number is increasing. More firefighters are taking their own lives, and they are actually being killed in the line of duty. And this is based on the number of statistics that we know. Firefighters are, I believe, 18 times more likely to suffer PTSD than the regular public. Some statistic close to that. And we're really trying to focus on that, not only at the state level, but also at the local level. The coin actually provides the 1-800 hotline number for that. And we're also just trying to create systems within the fire department for that. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of that piece of information. So thank you for allowing us to take some time out of the agenda today, and we really appreciate it. Oh yeah, let's get some pictures. You guys need to get the data. I know you do. Come on, guys. The volunteers. Party members.
It's better mean when we get the railroad. You know, the railroad is tell them at this point. I mean, it's going to be ticked.
Everybody get closer.
We got everybody smile. What a happy day.
We just haven't started with the number one.
What about with the cheese? Hold on. All right.
Okay, one more for me. Thank you. Next.
How you look so much like your parents. So cute.
Thank you.
Get everybody?
Mr. Monroe, want one?
Come on, chief. Come on up.
Oh, yeah, Tom.
Yeah.
Get a picture with me. Here, I want this one.
Yeah, that's good. Tom. Oh, that's nice. And the mayor, that's very sweet.
Oh, that's good.
Alrighty.
So we should do a family one.
Oh, that one.
Yes, do a family one. Come here, Goose.
Hold that thought. There we go.
Nice. That was good.
Looks
Yeah, right.
Is that it? Oh,
Nice.
got some more.
What did I do? It's me.
Thank you. One more.
Oh, we got more.
And you've been awake for more than 2 hours?
No, since 5 a.m.
Oh, oh, okay. I did. I did get in about a half an hour before this. I was happy to get it in. No,
I don't get that luxury.
you'll get there. My littlest is a lot. My littlest is a lot. They can take care of themselves.
Well, we'd like to thank everyone again.
It'll happen.
Thank you. We're gonna move out of here.
All right.
Don't wish it away.
Yeah, we're gonna go in the back.
Uh-oh, this is what you came for. Come on.
Hey, I expect this gives us the inside track on the railroad. I just want to, I'm putting that out there. You make that happen. You get it in our town. Big
I
right
want to go
across
right
the
on the
street.
fire truck.
Yeah, you can
Bye.
go visit on breaks.
Really?
Sounds like some electronics are getting hot, right?
Okay. All right. So the next agenda item is AB 22-133 proclamation number 22-16 Childhood Cancer Awareness Week. Whereas the American Cancer Fund for Children and Kids Cancer Connection report cancer is the leading cause of death by disease among U.S. children between infancy and age 15. This tragic disease is detected in more than 16,000 of our country's young people every year. An estimated 400,000 children and adolescents are diagnosed with cancer globally each year, whereas 1 in 5 of our nation's children loses his or her battle with cancer. Many infants, children, and teens will suffer from long-term effects of comprehensive treatment, including secondary cancers. And whereas founded nearly 30 years ago by Stephen Firestein, a member of the philanthropic Max Factor Cosmetics family, the American Cancer Fund for Children, Kids Cancer Connection, and Lions Club International are dedicated to helping these children and their families. And whereas the American Cancer Fund for Children and Kids Cancer Connection provide a variety of vital patient psychosocial services to children undergoing cancer treatment at Seattle Children's Hospital, Mary Bridges Hospitals in Tacoma, as well as participating hospitals throughout the country, thereby enhancing the quality of life for these children and their families. And whereas American Cancer Fund for Children and Kids Cancer Connection also sponsor toy distributions, family selling programs, positive appearance services, pet-assisted therapy, Laughter is Healing, KCC Supercar Experience, positive appearance programs, educational programs, and more, in honor of a child's determination and bravery to fight the battle against childhood cancer. Now, therefore, I, Catherine Ross, Mayor, City of Snoqualmie, do hereby proclaim the week of September 25th through October 1st as Childhood Cancer Awareness Week. Thank you. Right. Moving on, at this time, we will provide time for residents to comment on items not on the agenda. Snoqualmie residents who are not present have a right to have their elected representatives perform their duties on behalf of the city in an efficient and orderly manner. Please wait to be recognized and state your name and city of residence. Direct your comments to the council as a whole and not individual members. Please note that this is not a time to ask questions of the mayor, council, or staff or engage in debate. And also note that because the city council consideration of the mill site PCI plan is a closed record proceeding, the council considers the application based on the record that came before the city's hearing examiner. Public comment on the mill site quasi-judicial land use matter will not be accepted. So we will look to see, I see no one in the city hall at this point that is here for public comment.
Look at all these nobodies.
Is there anyone in the attendees that would like to have public comment? If so, please raise your hand. I'm seeing none. All right, so moving on to the consent agenda. It contains approval of the city council meeting minutes, September 8th, 2022 special meeting, September 12th, 2022 roundtable, September 12th, 2022 regular meeting, September 13th, 2022 special meeting, claims approval report dated 9/26/2022, AB 22-117, Washington Department of Commerce grant contract for Riverwalk Phase 1, AB 22-127, consultant services agreement with OTAC for design of Kimball Creek Bridges restoration, AB 22-134, consultant service agreement with KPG Somas for design of Snoqualmie Parkway rehabilitation project. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved by Councilor Wanton, second by Councilor Holloway. Is there any public comment regarding this item? Again, I will look, and I am not seeing anyone raise their hands either at City Hall or online. Councilor, is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none. One item that is on here is the Washington Department of Commerce grant, and I'd like to thank the Snoqualmie tribe for their collaboration and assistance on the Washington Department of Commerce grant for Riverwalk. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those approved, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to the next agenda item is AB 22-100, school impact fees for 2023. Adopt ordinance 1266, adopting the Snoqualmie Valley School District school impact fees for 2023. This is the first reading of ordinance 1266. And Mayor Pro Tem, who's not currently with us, would someone like to read the summary?
You okay if I do it?
Okay.
I'm gonna do it. I'll do it on behalf of the Mayor Pro Tem. This is for introduction only tonight. The city collects impact fees on behalf of the Snoqualmie Valley School District number 410. The district capital facilities plan is the basis for the school impact fee and contains the details of how the fee is calculated. The district updates its capital facilities plan on an annual basis. The city's comprehensive plan provides that the update of the district capital facilities plan be approved by the city council by resolution. The updated school impact fees are adopted separately by ordinance.
Thank you, Councilor Holloway. Is there any public comment regarding this item? I'm seeing no one raise their hand in City Hall or online. We do have Jason Rogers, will be able to present this if you would like to see a presentation this evening or further discussion on this. Is he here? He's online, isn't he? He's here.
I'll come down if you need me.
Okay,
Just say the word, I'll come down.
well, do you, Council, would like an overview of the school impact fees? I'm seeing a yes. Senior Planner Jason Rogers, yes, we would like to have you lead us through this, please.
Do you want to go next and come back? Well, he comes down.
I imagine he's running down the stairs.
How long are we
quicker than
gonna
I
have
thought.
to
Never
wait
mind.
for this guy? I mean,
Not carrying scissors.
All right, good evening, Jason Rogers, Senior Planner with the Community Development Department. So every year annually, the school district sends the capital facilities plan. That's the district's plan that outlines their various capital improvements over the next 6 years or so.
Excuse me a second, could we please have quiet in the chambers? Thank you. Okay.
And this is, new schools they're going to build, portables, other capital improvements that would add capacity. As part of this plan, the district also identifies a school impact fee that they would assess to new residential construction that would pay for that construction's proportionate share cost of this new capacity. As part of that, the council, under the terms of an interlocal agreement, and it's also codified in the city code and it's part of the comprehensive plan, needs to adopt the updated school impact fee by ordinance. And so that's what you're having for first reading here. The impact fee has been creeping up steadily because of the number of projects the school district has been working on for capacity. Mount Si High School being the most obvious example, but the school district has a number of other projects that they are currently considering, expanded elementary school capacity being, I think, the main one you will see in addition to the high school at this point. So the capital facilities plan agenda bill is not on the agenda tonight. It's set for discussion 2 weeks from now, so that the council could hopefully, if you have any questions, you can ask us. We'll take them down. We'll get answers from the school district. The representatives are not here tonight, but they will certainly be available in 2 weeks for you. So I'm happy to take some questions. I can answer some of them, but any I can't answer, we'll certainly get the school district to answer for us.
Councilor Watton.
So, Mr. Rogers, the capital improvement plan they're presenting that's includes that's the reason why the school impact fees have risen this year in particular are future plans, right? It's not the current just natural growth. This is, we're not talking about portables. It also includes potential additional schools or new schools.
Right, so one thing the district's plan does not necessarily include is, it doesn't include the, if you will, the history of what the fee has been going back, whether it's 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. We can certainly look all that up, and the district can provide that, so you can see how the fee has, has changed over time. It's gone both up and down at various times. Currently, what the district is showing in their capital facilities plan is, of course, continuing payments for Mount Si High School, because some of the capacity of the high school was intended to accommodate future growth. And so the district is still capturing that portion and having impact fees pay for it. One of the restrictions on impact fees under state laws is that those fees can only pay for those capacity needs that are attributable to that growth. You can't have impact fees cover existing deficiencies. So if we hadn't built a school over the last however long, 10 years, say, and there's an existing deficiency because of growth that has occurred in that 10 years, you can't go back retroactively and try to capture that against new development. So that is one limitation there. The other thing that the district is now showing are elementary school upgrades. Whether they will be a rebuild or a new school, I think the district has yet to fully define. Those would be for schools over in North Bend Elementary and Opstad being the two targets of that discussion specifically. And so the fee again would cover just the incremental capacity attributable to growth. The other restriction state laws, you can't have the impact fee pay for 100% of that incremental cost. It can only cover a portion. Now, it doesn't specify what that portion is. Under the interlocal agreement that the district and the city have, and this is based on negotiations back in the mid-90s, that percentage is set at 50%. So it's not the 100%, it's not 20%, it's half. That calculation is laid out in the CFP, the district CFP, using the various factors that go into that. Sorry, does that answer your question? I know I gave a lengthy answer.
Does.
Councillor Johnson.
Does the high school have portables right now?
No.
Like, are they out of space already?
It does not have portables, and the district is not showing any near term, or rather, they're not showing any intent within the 6-year horizon of the CFP to add portables there.
I'm very glad to hear that. Thank you.
I think the facilities plan shows what their capacity is, and they're still under their capacity.
Correct. The high school is designed with the ability to add portables should it become necessary, but they don't have any portables and no plans to add them. Yes.
Councillor Benson.
What are the levels of oversight that the school district has to go through to get these impact fees verified as necessary? Is this it? Are we it? Do we rubber stamp whatever they say? And is that the extent of the oversight, or are there other oversight bodies?
I think that there's a couple levels of oversight. One is the school board needs to, first of all, approve this. So generally speaking, the district CFP is something that is generated and proposed by the district administration, the superintendent's office effectively. They then have to get approved by the school board. So the school board is the first check. They need to say, look, is this appropriate? Do we think we're going to ask the voters for too much money for bond, things like that. The next level of oversight, if you will, would be the individual city councils for Snoqualmie, for North Bend, because the district does not have the power to actually levy an impact fee. They rely on us to do it. That's what the interlocal agreement is for. The interlocal agreement, through both the original and the amended interlocal agreement, provide for if you will, a dispute resolution process, or I shouldn't necessarily call it that. I think it's more of a, there's a process for if the city council has some additional questions, that it provides for effectively a joint meeting with the council. Well, actually, I think, is it a joint meeting?
I believe it is.
Okay. So there's a process that allows a joint meeting between the council and the board to discuss this and see if there can be a meeting of the minds on the fee. There have been situations in the past where the council has had some concerns about aspects of impact fees, both the fee itself, but also some of the things that come along with it. Those were resolved about a decade ago now.
Councillor Watton.
I don't want to monopolize your time, but my question is this, and is more of a curiosity, and that is, there are two types of impact fees. One would be for multifamily, and then there's a second one for single family. But my question is this, we exempt affordable housing, we exempt accessory dwelling units, ADUs, but we don't distinguish between the types of multifamily. And I'm curious, why not? If we had a developer that wanted to do market rate micro apartments for 500 square feet, I have a hard time believing that those are going to have as much impact as a 1,500 square foot apartment. But yet, according to my interpretation, unless I have this wrong, that developer pays the same amount regardless.
So that's one of the stickier issues, I would say. Currently, the way the fee is calculated is it's taking the average student generation. So how many students does every multifamily unit generate, if you will? So it's point something kids per unit, and it's taking the average for a couple neighboring for Issaquah and Bellevue and Redmond. It's a couple of neighboring cities because we don't have that many multifamily developments out here in the Snoqualmie Valley. So it is based on actual student generation numbers. It's not an estimate or anything, but it is admittedly backward looking. When you get land uses such as micro apartments that don't necessarily fit within the mold, it has not come up in Snoqualmie Valley School District or for these cities. A prior city I worked for, Redmond, did have the specific issue. They had a developer building these micro apartments, and he was arguing, look, no kid's going to live in these units. So he had to take that argument. This developer had to take the argument to the school board and to this Redmond City Council. At the time, we worked out a process by which initially they paid half the multifamily fee. And then through further negotiation, once they got some actual data, they were able to lower it to it wasn't zero, but it was a very low level. So such a thing is possible, but it would have to be negotiated in case by case basis to an extent. Because that hasn't been an issue here, it hasn't been addressed here. And so I think it would wait for that.
Thank you.
Councilor Benson?
Would it necessarily make sense for it to wait for that? I mean, if we wanted to have development like that, it might be something that we want to get ahead of and make it clear that, you're not going to get smacked with that whole impact fee if you're going to build those kind of dwellings. So just throwing that out there. I understand it's not part of this particular conversation, but I'm not sure I agree that we'd need to wait for that, would we?
Ultimately, that would be up to the council. We can certainly, if there's desire of the council to consider that issue, we could arrange a joint meeting with the school board probably and start having those discussions. But we would also want to take a look at, of course, would those types of developments occur in the Snoqualmie Valley? Would it be, if you will, worth the effort? And maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't think though that I'm going to stand here and tell you whether that's the case. That's ultimately for the council to determine.
Okay. Any other comments on this? I know we will be also discussing in 2 weeks during the council meeting. We will also have access to Mr. Stokes, correct?
Correct.
To answer any questions. So, right. Thank you. So moving on to, are there any reports from Public Safety Committee?
Sure. We met last week and we discussed the mutual aid and automatic aid agreements that are in place between fire and some local jurisdictions. In addition, we talked a fair bit about what the plans are to the extent that there are forest fires that are located in the area. In addition, for police, we talked about the age and the current mileage of the police vehicles that we have now. And we also, Chief Phipps was happy to report that we have 3 new officers who will be graduating from the police academy in October and joining the force. So
thank you. Any reports from community development?
No report.
Thank you. First committee report from Parks and Public Works Committee is AB 22-129 Meadowbrook Bridge Load Rating Update. So it's to approve a task order with Tetra Tech to complete a load rating update for Meadowbrook. Councilor Holloway, would you please read the summary and motion?
The 2021 Bridge Inspection Report prepared by King County Bridge Department for the Meadowbrook Bridge 1726A identifies a deterioration of several elements of the bridge structure. A load rating update is required by WashDOT by the end of 2022 and is the first step to determine future maintenance needs and long-term care of the bridge structure. Move to approve task order 3 with Tetra Tech to complete a load rating update for the Meadowbrook Bridge. May I have a second?
Second.
Just moved by Councilmember Holloway and second by Councilmember Johnson. Is there any public comment on this item? If so, raise your hand. I'm not seeing anyone in the attendees or anyone present in at City Hall from public. Okay, any discussion? Councilor Holloway.
Part of the reason we kept this off consent was, one is $153,000. Two, want to make you aware of the effect of this. Characterized as spending next biennial money this biennial. I have a hard time saying that, so I'll say it the Holloway way. What we're going to do is we're going to pull out of our ending fund balance for the year, this 153K, pull it for this expense. The expense is required by WashDOT that we have this done by the end of the year, so we kind of have to do it. That'll decrease our ending fund balance. It'll also decrease the beginning fund balance when we go into discussions of the next biennial. So the effect will carry over and in essence do that reduction on the next biennial to cover this expense. That's pretty much what this one's about.
But doesn't it also decrease the overall project amount, the same amount?
The project is still one. It doesn't decrease the overall project amount. It's 1.7, I believe.
Right,
That remains the same.
Right,
Less
but
the
it comes
153,000.
out of that.
It will come out of that project
Yeah.
figure for the next biennial.
Right.
Right. So in essence, we're reducing the appropriation for the next biennium in 2023 and 2024, which means there's less project budget in that 2-year period, which means that hopefully by the end of this upcoming 2-year period, our fund balance will then be back where it would have been if we didn't accelerate the project.
That's fair to say.
I guess that's what I'm trying to understand. So don't walk away yet. If we're pulling it from ending 2022 ending fund balance and using it now, or and we're saying that it's going to potentially grow back into, I guess I'm trying to understand what was $1.744 million budgeted for, if we can just take it out and not work, and then no big deal. We're just going to take it out now. Was that money, was this 153 meant to be spent in the future? Or we're just moving it forward, or is it new money that we're planning to spend?
It
That's
was
what I'm trying to
meant
get
to be spent in the future,
Okay.
right? It's just, we're taking this project and we're shifting a couple months earlier. But we have to work out the mechanics around the 2 bienniums, right? So the 2021, 2022 biennium and the 23 and 24 biennium. And so what we're proposing as a part of this budget impact statement is the project budget stays the same. We're just shifting it up earlier, basically, to accomplish this before the end of 2022, which is required by Washington State. So
let me try to ask again, because I don't think I asked my question very well. Did we anticipate that we would have to do this bridge inspection report and spend the $153,863
this year,
next year?
So, I mean, I'd have to ask Jeff about that.
So let me put it, so it may not have been this specific analysis, but there would have been upfront analysis to to understand the condition of the bridge and prepare the appropriate designs to address. That was the $1.7 million. Okay. So there is an analysis planned in the 1.7. It may not have been this specific analysis for WashDOT, but in essence, it serves the same purpose internally. We're in order to meet the WashDOT requirement now, we're just pulling 153,000 forward. And we will debit the project amount for next biennial by the 153,000.
Councilor Benson?
Yeah, one of the important points, and this has been a recurring theme in Parks and Public Works, they've been able to find ways to save us money by reordering the way that they're doing things. But with this particular project, this needs to be done sooner rather than later. Otherwise, we potentially lose funding, grant funding from I'm not sure, is it grant or funding from the state? We have to complete this. What do you call it? The rehab on the
Right.
bridge.
Load rating.
Yeah.
There he is.
Councilor Leslie?
So I guess what, okay, you're asking me to pull money from a budget I haven't approved.
No,
There is
I'm not. No, we'll
No,
back up.
not you. You as in the
That's why,
universe.
that's why I wanted to
Universe.
have this conversation.
You as
I-
in universe. So I'm being
No.
asked, no, let me finish. You're asking me to pull money from a budget I haven't approved. So my question is, where does the 153,863 come from?
So
I'd like to ask the mayor to run the meeting.
Councilor Holloway?
So I agree with you. I have the same issue. Okay, so I will tell you as chair of the committee,
You as
Well-
universe, not me.
I agree. No, with this exact concern you've expressed, I agree with you. So as chair of the committee, what I'm telling you is we have an ending fund balance of about $2 million and change.
Well, so right now about 20.1 is what we're predicting to start off with
2
in
million and change, 21
2023.
million. They're rounding here.
I mean, by the end of the 2024, if we were to spend our entire appropriation, then it would probably decrease to about 2.1.
So Parks and Public Works has a
Councilor
21,
Lasay?
yeah, sorry. Parks and Public Works has a $21 million budget for repairing Meadowbrook Bridge. Is that what you're telling me?
There's multiple
No.
projects involved right over the next.
Okay,
year period that-
dollars come from specific funds. I need to know, where is this coming from?
So there are transportation utility taxes that we collect to support this degree of work.
Okay. Sure, let me.
Councilor
let me
Holloway.
finish, though, please. We're gonna pull $153 forward. We're going to fund that by decreasing this biennial's ending fund balance by 153K. We've got we have sufficient ending fund balance to cover this expenditure by $2-digit million. Okay. In effect, what that will do will be the beginning fund balance for next year will be 153K less than what we tentatively planned at this stage. But $153 also of the project will have shifted from next biennial to this biennial. Okay, so the 1.7 doesn't change. It's spread between the biennial changes slightly. The ending and beginning fund balances between the biennials changed by the 153K to cover that.
Councilor Lasay?
So I have to take the unfortunate position of I do not support this because I don't follow the dollars. We do not have a budget for next year. There's nothing to pull from the budget for next year. I do not see in the report where this 153,000 is coming from. What fund is it coming from? What's the starting balance? What's the ending balance? It's always been a case of we want to follow the dollars. If staff wants to modify it and show me where in the 21-22 biennial budget that this money is available. I'm not doubting it's there, but if I don't see it, it doesn't exist. So I will not be voting in favor of this without that added in.
Any other discussion?
No, I agree.
All those ready to vote? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
No,
Okay. Vote 5.
Just one more item. When you're ready.
Well, regarding this?
No, not that.
Oh, okay, okay. Any further comments from Parks and Public Works?
Yeah, so if the council so chooses to move forward in regards to the community center, there are a number of mechanisms under which we could do that. Bid, build, or we could do a design. and those options. To do that, we're gonna go seek a consultant to help us with that. So I just want to give you a heads up that probably in about 2 weeks, we're gonna come back with an agenda bill to go get a consultant to advise us in that area. Did I miss anything?
And the consultant will also advise on getting state project review committee approval to use design build, which is one of the options.
Right.
And because that has a significant lead time, if you want to have that available to you, it's something that you will want to authorize us to start now. So that's the purpose of that consultant assistance.
So just don't want to pop up on you on the next council meeting. And if you're really interested, watch the video or come join us in Public Works.
Thank you.
That's end of report.
Next committee report, Finance Administration, AB 22-141, revise the 2023-2024 biennial budget calendar. So F&A, someone from F&A would like to read the summary and motion?
Who can get there first? I've got it, if you're okay. The 2023-2024 biennial budget development calendar provides a timeline of expected city council meetings, workshops, and milestones for the upcoming biennial budget development process. At the September 20th, 2021 Finance Administration Committee meeting, members requested a change in the calendar to improve the effectiveness of council review of the 2023-2024 biennial budget, and to reduce any duplication in meeting schedule and material presented if possible. Therefore, the administration is proposing several changes to the calendar, which has been found at the end of the background section. And move to approve the revised 2023-2024 biennial budget development calendar. May I have a second?
Seconded.
So it's moved by Councilmember Holloway and second by Councilmember Christensen to approve the new revised calendar. Is there any public comment regarding this? Not seeing anyone raising their hands. So any discussion? I see our budget manager,
For the staff.
Boutte.
So we had a robust discussion at the F&A committee. In essence, the catalyst was to make meetings potentially more efficient over time. We recognize the amount of time that council has spent, not only dealing with the mill site, but also with the budget as well. And so the goal of this revision is to kind of support council in terms of how much time you guys are spending here. Part of what we're asking for is part of this is to delete a review of the financial management policy today. And that has been removed from the agenda. In addition, we are switching out the department presentations that were initially scheduled for tomorrow, I think with the mill site discussion. And we're going to add those department presentations back at the committee level on October the 3rd. So the week of October the 3rd will be kind of a committee round of department presentations. And then in addition to that, we're planning on adding a review of the financial management policy on October the 10th. And so that's what we have scheduled moving forward. I think we're hoping to kind of get through as much as the mill site as possible over today and tomorrow and see where we kind of land on that and then proceed with the budget kind of following this kind of 2-day period. So thank you for that. That's roughly it, and happy to answer any questions.
Any discussion? So I will comment on what you just stated is that now the department presentations will be at the council committee level. So I would recommend, if you can, all council members to attend the committees, because now you need to put your trust into the committee members with the budget work. Let them ask the questions, but you should send your questions to them. You can send it to budget manager Boutte, and then they will come back to council with their final answers and recommendations. So you're putting your trust in your council committees, and please attend so you can hear the conversation or discussion going on. So Councilor Say.
I'm looking down at the agenda, the calendar, sorry, and I don't remember seeing these there. I see under November 14th and November 28th, presentation and review of the 2023 property tax levy, including public hearing. Is that new?
No.
Nope. It's been there. Any other discussion? Questions? Right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Nay.
Right. There's 5 voted yes and 1 that voted against it. Councilor Say. All right, moving on to first committee of the whole. Councilmember Christensen will lead us in discussion about city's legislative priorities.
Yep, just sorry, one moment. My computer is not cooperating.
Do you want us to put the old ones up there or the current ones?
We could go ahead and put the current ones that were attached. if That'd be helpful. Okay. So fellow council members, as you know, I'm the current member representative to PIC, which is a public interest committee of the Sound Cities Association. Every year, the SCA works to build a legislative agenda that incorporates the goals of the city representatives to basically a large list so that they can go ahead and help us advocate for it as we go forward. Over the next few months, the SCA board will be working on the 2023 legislative agenda. And it's really helpful for them to know which issues are going to be appearing across the different cities in the area. We've currently put up the list of the 2022 legislative priorities. Those were come up with last year and voted on by council. The 2 highest priorities, and I hope you had a chance to look at this, were basically the Parkway and the community center, as well as some other goals that we had, including affordable housing, the SR 18, widening the mental health person to come and assist. And what we'd like to do is not take time at this meeting, but to have everybody go home and think about what are the most important issues for Snoqualmie and basically be ready to come back in 2 weeks and discuss whether some of these things may be the same, whether some may be different, and just go from there to have that discussion.
And I will note that we have accomplished several items on there, some major ones. So
Huge.
that's great
ones.
news. Yes.
Just
Councilor
fantastic.
Johnson.
Yeah, and just building on that, yes, that's a wonderful thing. But also any state funding toward those things could always end up going away in a future state budget. So even just keeping some things there might be a good idea until they are well enough established that there's reasonable expectation that they would continue to be funded in the future. I don't know if that made any sense, but anyway, it could still be a priority to make sure that they keep funding that program.
True. Right. So we will address this during the next council member meeting. Excuse me. Right. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the mayor's report, and then we will go back to the continuation of the mill site deliberations. So just a couple things. One is a thank you to Councilor Watton and Snow Valley Chamber CEO Kelly Coughlin for hosting the Affordable Housing Summit this past week. We heard from builders and nonprofits, local governments and funders, each presenting on strategies that they've used from their on getting more housing and, or let's say, housing more attainable. And so I took a lot of information away, and I think a lot of the others that attended it. So our Councilor Christensen and of course Councilor Watton and Mayor Pro Tem Mayhew. So it was a lot of valuable information. So thank you for hosting that. We have an SVGA meeting this Wednesday, and it's actually going to be on Zoom. Time of the sign of the times, we try to get, usually we're trying to have these in the host city, and some restaurants still can't host like 20 or more. They just don't have enough employees. So we'll be Zoom this time. We're going to have a discussion regarding the increasing amount of crime that we're seeing in Snoqualmie Valley and what types of legislation would help reduce the overall crime. So we've invited legislators to be part of the discussion, and in particular is the chair of the House of Representatives Public Safety Committee, Mr. Goodman. And so he will be attending, as well as Senator Mullet, Representative Callan, and hopefully others. And our chief Phipps is going to be kind of leading the discussion and providing statistics that he has seen in the valley, as well as talked with under chief sheriff and others. So it's going to be a good discussion. And then they'll also provide, what's going to be happening in the legislative session. What are the other hot topics coming up? So I hope that you guys can attend. It'd be great to see you there. And we do have a special workshop scheduled for tomorrow if we need that. So today we kind of further discussed whether we do need that additional workshop for the mill site deliberations. So is there any council committee liaison reports? Not council committee, but liaison reports. Councilor Lissay.
Yeah, we had a Chamber of Commerce meeting last Wednesday. Councilmember Watton was also there, which was great. You've heard that the Snoqualmie Valley Housing I'm drawing a blank. Help me, Rob. Summit, thank you. I've heard from some feedback from some folks, ironically, not from my own employee and from my own client, but I've heard from others that it was a great success and everybody really enjoyed it. One of the things that was discussed in the chamber meeting was the number of openings, ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings that are going on in Snoqualmie has really accelerated. I think that's a great sign that the businesses are waking back up again. There are opportunities in Snoqualmie for retail, commercial, office, mixed use advancement. I think that's really a great development. So I'd encourage everyone to go to the chamber website and kind of track their events. There's lots of those coming up as well. And I think that's all a positive sign for the community.
Great. Excellent. Thank you. Any other comments from liaisons? Okay. So moving on, we will continue deliberations of the combination of AB 22-098 Snoqualmie Mill Plan Commercial Industrial Plan and also AB 22-114 Snoqualmie Mill Development Agreement during this meeting. Please note that because the City Council consideration of the mill site PCI plan is a closed proceeding, public comment on the mill site quasi-judicial land use matter will not be accepted, nor are we taking public comment on development agreement this evening. And at the roundtable at 6 p.m., our City Attorney Sturbank did address the legal parameters pertaining to quasi-judicial land use matters, including the fairness doctrine. So nothing has changed since that point. Councilor Lissay?
I just saw that. I didn't just see it. It was been there for a long time. But there's a possible executive session. Is that something we need to address before we go into a potential closed session? Is that related to addressing AB 22098 and AB 114?
That would have been.
He's back. Yeah.
Is there any reason for an executive session?
That was a placeholder in the event that council wanted one pertaining to a matter that you already discussed this evening. And so if they're,
all right,
it's not needed unless council wanted it for some other reason.
Okay. Thank you. And Councilor, is there a desire to hold a closed session regarding the quasi-judicial land use matter?
So moved.
Second.
This moved by Councilor Watton and second by Councilor Johnson to go into a closed session. All those in favor say 1 second. Councilor Holloway.
Well, it's just, if we're not expecting actions after their closed session, can we adjourn out of the closed session as opposed to coming back?
Yes, we will. Yeah, so I will.
Okay.
So all those in favor for a closed session?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay? Okay, we will go into a closed session. And so it's pursuant to RCW 42.30.1402 regarding quasi-judicial matter between named parties that's distinguished from a matter having general effect on the public or on a class or group. Council will take a 5-minute recess and we can convene in about maybe 8:15. And City Attorney Sturbank, how much time do you think we need for the closed session or council? Do you want to go till 9 o'clock or is there some time period?
Please.
Till 9 o'clock. Okay. And who shall attend?
Same attendees at prior, council, the mayor, Mr. Sauerwein, myself, Mr. Rogers, Mr. Carrera, Mr. Chambliss, and Ms. Arteche.
Great, thank you. And so no act, oh, excuse me.
And then council can let us know as we go through the issues, then the staff who work on those particular issues could then go.
Okay. Yes, that sounds good. And so no action is anticipated following conclusion of the closed session. So the council will adjourn directly from the closed session, will not be returning to open session, and the interim city clerk will be informed of the concluding time for the closed session, which will be reflected in council meeting minutes. So any further action? No? Okay, we will go into our closed session starting around 8:15. So thank you.